Hey guys, it's a great Sunday morning here. Today we're going to be talking about the pregame expectations, really, for what to look for, what to watch out for, what I want to see um, going up here against the Texans on Sunday Night Football. So this is going to be a fun game. All right, so first up, I'm going to talk my expectations. I expect us to win. If I had to bet money on it, I'd say that we win. Um, I know that in my first podcast, I talked about the Ravens game, and I talked about how since we might play the Texans in the playoffs, um, we don't, or since we might play the Ravens in the playoffs, we didn't show them everything we had. Our defense kind of laid back, and against the Texans, I'm a little worried about the same thing because they're sitting here at 7-4. And there's a good chance we play them again in the playoffs if we do show them a lot of what we have. And if they can plan on that, then it might be a little harder for us to beat them in the playoffs. But at the same time, after the Texans, we play the Bills and the Chiefs, one after the other. And those are going to be we play the Chiefs and the Bengals and the Bills and the Dolphins. Now, the Bengals and the Dolphins, I'm pretty sure are going to be wins. So that puts us at 12-4 by the end of the year if we lose to the Chiefs and the Bills. Because that's the problem right now with my whole theory against the Ravens is that if that stands true, there's a good chance we do the same thing against the Texans, the Chiefs, and the Bills, which leaves us at 12-4, which is still a good record. But it's possible we don't have the number one seed in the AFC, considering that the Ravens are sitting at 6-2. Or wait, what are the Ravens sitting at? They're either sitting at 6-2 or 8-2. Let me check real quick. Yeah, the Ravens are sitting at 9-2, so they have an equal chance to win the AFC if we do not win one of these big games, which is why I think we will put a lot into one of these big games, and I think that if we're going to put a lot into any of them, it's going to be against either the Texans or the Bills. I don't know if we put a lot against the Chiefs. I mean, last year we did during the regular season, but yeah, I don't know. It's tough, but I know one of these three games at least we are going to put in our all. But then even on that, we're betting on the Ravens to lose more than 2 games. So it's a tough one. We might have to put hard in all three of them to secure that. Because who knows? Ravens could go 14-2, and it could come down to that last game about whether or not we hold control of the AFC and home field advantage in the championship if we do play the Ravens. But it's interesting. Ending at 15-1 wouldn't surprise me, just to secure that playoff win, which is why we might try super hard against the Texans and the Chiefs and not against the Bills, or super hard against the Chiefs and the Bills and not the Texans. It's hard to tell which team Belichick's going to choose to kind of hold back against, if any, due to the fact that they will all three of those games might be very important in our playoff standings. But yeah, it's interesting. So yeah, that's my expectation. I don't know if they're gonna try super hard or not. They have more games in which they can do that. They could not try very hard against the Dolphins even. Although I think that would be a waste to the whole philosophy. So yeah, if I had to pick a game that we aren't gonna try super hard against, it's gonna be the Chiefs, just because they are the most likely team that we're going to play against in the playoffs. But yeah, that's my take. So next up is our receiving core and the potential there. There's a chance that we have an entirely healthy receiving core here against the Texans. That's Mohamed Sanu, Phillip Dorsett, Julian Edelman, Ben Watson, and N'Keal Harry and Jacoby Myers. And then N'Keal Harry could have a breakout game. I'm still waiting for that. But Mohamed Sanu, expect him to have a good game. Julian Edelman lined up in the slot. Expect him to have a good game as usual this year. He's in the top 10, top 5 for receptions all year. So yeah, expect him to keep getting them. Ben Watson, don't expect him to do much in receiving. I would more expect him to do a lot in run blocking. But if we do have a fully healthy receiving core, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. We could have, for the first time all year, fully healthy offense with our offensive line there, Ben Watson there to block, Sony Michel, everyone there, and we will see if that happens, the full potential of our offense. Because we're not signing any more guys, I can assure you that. We are not. So we will see the full potential of our offense if we have a fully healthy offense. Unless, of course, we don't want to show the Texans what we have. But I think we will see some greatness from this offense with full healthiness, and N'Keal Harry especially. It's going to be that X Factor guy. If he can break out or not, that's going to be a big key to this offense in this game, is getting N'Keal Harry going. Because he only has 4 catches in his first 2 games. So it would be nice to hit him a few more times for more than 18 yards and a touchdown. So yeah, that's my little outlook on the receiving core. I mean, I'm expecting a lot from these guys. We have a decent lineup. You know, it's not the worst receiving core in the league. It's by far not the best, but it's pretty good. Line up there right in the middle. So I expect this team, this offense in particular, to do pretty good against the Texans. It'd be nice to show that our offense can do something great against a good team, against a over 500 team sitting at 7-3, but we'll see. And that takes me into the run game. Sorry for yawning. It's 9:45 a.m. I kind of just woke up Sunday morning in order to record this and post it a couple hours before the game. So yeah, Sony Michel and the run game is also another big thing to look for. Sony Michel is going to be in there. Our offensive line is going to be in there. We gave Sony Michel 20 carries against the Dallas Cowboys, and I don't expect that we're going to hold back from handing it off more. If not him, then maybe James White, maybe Rex Burkhead. You know, Rex Burkhead, it seems that when we give him the ball, he does pretty good, effort-wise, and kind of extending past contact, like an extra yard or 2 every time. It reminds me a little bit of Dion Lewis when we had him. But yeah, so Sony Michel in the run game, I'm expecting that to also kind of break out a little bit. It'd be great if Sony Michel could get an over 100 yard game, and maybe a pair of touchdowns. That'd be cool. Just to see that breakout, because he's yet to break 100 rushing yards in any game this year. And that kind of segues into the offensive line. You know, I am a little worried about the offensive line still, because, like I said, it was kind of half and half against the Dallas Cowboys. There were times when we had time, and there were times when we had no time. And I think I'd like to see a bit more consistency out of the offensive line, a bit more play after play with a couple seconds to throw. But yeah, and then on top of that is the run game, like I said, with Sony Michel. I'm expecting that we're going to hand it off a lot against this Texans defense. Yeah, it's going to be a fun game. But the Sony Michel in the run game, that's going to be something big to watch out for with that offensive line. It's going to be fun, though, to see if Brady has time and a full receiving core. I'm telling you, he's going to throw over 300 yards. Start him in fantasy if we have over 100 yards. Start him in fantasy if we have a full receiving core and our fully healthy offensive line. He will do wonders against that defense, trust me. We've had a few weeks now with this tandem of receivers, and now we're going to see it on the big screen. So, let's hope. But I would take that bet any day to see Tom Brady go off against the Texans. I mean, I think the last time we played him, or the time before that, just the last regular season game, he threw over 300 yards and 5 touchdowns. It was that game where, at the end of the game, he had that game-winning drive with a kind of last couple seconds touchdown pass to Brandon Cooks, where he did a little toe tap on the side of the end zone. And that was a fun game to watch. Especially just vintage Brady right there with a game-winning drive. But it'd be fun to see Brady go off like that, definitely. Especially with the doubts this year. I mean, everybody just talking so much crap about Brady, about how old he is. I mean, that's been going on for the last 10 years, it feels like. But just about how his stats aren't as flashy and this and that. It's like Tom Brady's not a flashy quarterback. He never has been. I mean, maybe in the 16-0 season when he had all those crazy numbers. That's only because Randy Moss was there. He's never been a flashy quarterback. He has never really ran out of the pocket that much. He has 3 MVP awards, though. So, I mean, he's been good at what he does. Like I said, he's not a highlight reel quarterback. It's not what he is. He is a go down the field and score quarterback in the simplest way possible. Because if you keep the play simple, there's less of a chance of a turnover. If you just say, you know what, I'm going here, or I'm throwing the ball away. I'm not going to run around and throw a cross-body pass, no-looker, to try and fool the defense and then end up getting picked off or tipped up. Brady just says, look, if it ain't there, I'm going to throw it away. And this season, to be fair, 5 times he's made that mistake where he has kind of thrown it either a bad pass or just into coverage. And those 5 plays were interceptions. And there were a few times where the defense dropped it too. And that does show Brady's age a little bit. But it's still a lot better than the majority of quarterbacks in this league. So I don't think that's any cause to worry. But it's just annoying. I mean, are you guys as annoyed as I am? Every year it's the same thing. I mean, this year it's a little bit different though. Last year and a couple years before that, it was we'd lose like 2 of our first 3 games, or 3 of our first 4 games, or 3 of our first 5, or 1 of our first 2, or we'd lose our opener. And everybody'd say, oh, Patriots are struggling. What's up? What's going on in Foxborough? You know, is Brady bad? Is he done? Is this offense going to be able to do anything this year? Is this defense going to be able to do anything? And we sit at like 1-2 or 2-2, or 3-2, and everybody's just freaking out in ESPN and on Twitter and on Instagram. And then we go and we end the season 12-4, or 13-2, or 13-3, and it's just every year I feel like that happened. And then this year, all of a sudden, we started out 8-0, lost against the Ravens, of course, but still, we're sitting here at 10-1, 2 games later, 3 weeks later, and nobody's really talking. I mean, they're saying stuff about the offense and about Brady because, well, Brady isn't playing the best football he has. And it's a funny expectation for Brady that he has created, and I think that's one of the flaws of his dominance over the years is that everybody expects him to play the best or have the best stats in the league or be the best quarterback in terms of statistics or in terms of play. They kind of expect him to have the best offense in the league or one of the top offenses every single year. So this year, when he doesn't have a top offense, not really anywhere near the top, all of a sudden, he's not good anymore. Or if his team's losing last year, he's not good anymore. But yeah, it's tough. It's tough. I know I've said that many times now, but I gotta emphasize it. It's tough to wanna, you want to argue against these people and say, look at the stats, look at the wins, look at what he's doing. We're 10-1. He's doing his job. That's the point. The point isn't to revolve the team around Tom Brady. That's never been the point. We wouldn't have won 6 Super Bowls if we revolved the team around one player. It's a big thing about the Patriots. We never revolved the team around one player. We revolved the team around the team. or around the schemes and the play calls. We don't revolve it around a player. We didn't revolve it around Randy Moss. He was just a big part of it. We don't revolve it around Tom Brady, but he's a big part of it. That's the thing. It's like a puzzle. It's not like a solar system where there's one player making all the plays and the rest of everybody kind of just revolves around that and depends on that. It's more of a puzzle where the pieces fit together just right. And if one of those pieces goes away or one of those pieces stops doing their job, that offense or that defense can kind of fall apart. We saw that in Super Bowl 52 against the Eagles. Took out Malcolm Butler. Man, did they destroy us. And that was just very disappointing. They took out Malcolm Butler and the defense looked like they didn't know what the hell they were doing. And that was tough. That was real tough. But it just kind of showed you that game that the Patriots are a team. They're not a Brady team. They're not Brady's team. They're not Mohamed Sanu's team. They're not Edelman's team. They're not Hightower's team. They're not Gilmore's team. They're the Patriots. And they're a team. That's what I think the best thing about them is that the reason, in Gronk in a radio show, he talked about how the Patriots don't treat anyone like a superstar. And that's because nobody is more worth it than the other starting players on that team. And they know it. They know they have to feel that way. They have to act that way. Even if they don't believe it to be true. I'm sure Brady thinks he's a lot more important than Rex Burkhead. Or Brady thinks he's a lot more important than Jacoby Myers or Matt Lacoste or Ryan Izzo to that team. And in reality, he is. But that doesn't take away from the fact that it's a team game. And you have to stay humble. And you have to be better than that. Okay, so next thing here, how are we going to hold Deshaun Watson? I got asked recently by a friend. I don't think that's going to be the key to this game. I think the key to this game and what the Texans are going to try to do is run the ball. Because our defense has not been stellar against rushing offenses. We did pretty good against Zeke. We held them to 9 points, so we must have done pretty well. But I think they're going to try to run it a lot with Lamar Miller. And we're going to see just how good our rush defense can hold. That'll be a big point. Our defense is holding that run game back. And if we do hold that back, then they're going to pass it around with Deshaun Watson. And Gilmore against, who is he matched up against? Hopkins. Gilmore against Hopkins is going to be one heck of a duo to watch here. I expect Gilmore to hold well, though. I don't expect him to flounder. So, yeah, I'm going to pull up the week, I believe it is week 12. And I'm gonna kind of shout out my predictions here. And it's week 13. My bad. I'm gonna put my predictions on record here. Now I've posted them on one of my other Instagram accounts, not the Your Patriots Instagram account. I post all my Sunday and Monday predictions. I don't usually do Thursday. I don't know why, I just don't. But here, if I pull up my predictions here, I am overall 107-32, and I think that's just around 77% accuracy. Week 11, I went 13-1, and that was my best week all year. But here are my predictions. Titans against the Colts. That's a tough one because the Titans' offense has been stellar with Ryan Tannehill at quarterback. But, in the end, I got to take the Colts because Colts have one of the toughest defenses out there. They're a hard team to beat. And, okay, Ravens, 49ers. I'm gonna take the 49ers. I think that the 49ers defense is gonna show that Lamar Jackson, I don't think they're gonna show that he can be stopped. I think they're gonna show that he can be slowed down. I think the 49ers have a good coaching staff. They have a good defense. I think they're going to find a way to at least slow down Lamar Jackson. I don't think they're going to neutralize him, but I think they're going to stop him from passing it around a bit. I think they're going to kind of slow down that run game. It's going to be a little harder for the Ravens this game. I still think it'll be a decently scoring game, maybe mid-20s, lower 20s, but I think the 49ers are going to pull away with a close win. Maybe a one possession. If they play really good defense, and it could be like a 24-14 or a 28-21 game or something like that. And in that case, it's a two possession win. But yeah, that's going to be probably the best game of the day. Two teams that are not going to shy away from trying super hard to win. So here, Jets against the Bengals. That's going to be a very... Well, I'd take the Jets, honest. I mean, Andy Dalton's going to be going back in for the Bengals. Maybe he has something to prove. He throws up a big game. But other than that, Sam Darnold and the Jets offense has been playing surprisingly good lately. And I think they've won a couple of their recent games, or three of them, in a very short amount of time. And they're kind of making a statement here with the wins they're getting. But here, Browns against the Steelers. I got to take the Browns. It's the rematch of the one against Myles Garrett and Mason Rudolph. And I got to take the Browns just simply because, well, it's tough because the Steelers might be motivated by that whole Myles Garrett thing, but I'm not sure it's enough to beat the Browns because the Browns are on a pretty good hot streak right now. I don't know how many they've won in a row, but I know that Baker Mayfield has thrown 7 touchdowns and 1 pick in his last few games. Okay, so that was the... Where am I? Okay, Eagles, Dolphins, that's easy. I'm going to take the Eagles over the Dolphins. Dolphins are out of the playoffs. They have really nothing to lose, but they also have nothing to motivate them. Redskins, Panthers. I got to take the Panthers all the way. The Redskins, they're not together yet. Their offensive line is terrible. Haskins is okay. He's showing that he can win games, but they need the rest of a team around him for him to do that right now. Packers, Giants. I'm going to take the Packers. They kind of got embarrassed by the 49ers. I think they're going to bounce back from that, and they're going to have something to prove, like, hey, we're still a good team. Don't just discredit us because of that 49ers game. I think they're going to kind of rock the Giants down there. Buccaneers, Jaguars. I'm going to take the Jaguars with Nick Foles. I think he's going to do something good here, show that he is worth the quarterback position. They got a lot of Jaguars fans wanting Minshew back for Minshew Mania, but yeah, I'm going to hope Nick Foles here puts up something cool, puts up a big game. Rams, Cardinals. It's, Kyler Murray here is showing how good he is as a rookie. Jared Goff isn't having a good year. I'm going to take it's going to be a close game. But if I had to bet money, I'd take the Cardinals. An upset game there. Raiders, Chiefs. I got to take the Chiefs. I mean, the Raiders are showing that they're a good team. They're a playoff team, I think. They have a winning record. But I don't think they're going to knock off the Chiefs. They could. I'm not going to totally kind of throw it away because the Titans knocked off the Chiefs. If the Titans knocked off the Chiefs, anyone can knock off the Chiefs. Chargers, Broncos. I'm going to take the Chargers because it's Drew Lock who's going to be starting in his first career game. I don't think he's going to play amazing. I think he'll play decent, but I don't think he's going to play amazing. Patriots, Texans. I got to take the Patriots. I think the Patriots offense is going to show they have something to go for them after 2 straight and very mediocre weeks. And I think our defense is going to do relatively well against them. And I think we're going to try to win, and I think we're going to win on primetime. Vikings, Seahawks. I got to take the Vikings. Kirk Cousins on such a hot streak. And, it's really the big game for Kirk Cousins because it's primetime against a big team, and it's going to be interesting. And it's gonna be awesome. Kirk Cousins, prime time. Maybe he gets shaky legs and throws a bunch of picks at the end of the game, costs him the game, but we shall see. It'll be very, very interesting to see. So yeah, thank you for watching. Enjoy the games today. It's gonna be a fun one. A lot of fun matchups today. And a lot of games that could be upsets. There's potential to be a great Sunday. But the other way, I'll see you Monday morning is when my post-game podcast will go out. I will record it tonight after the game. So, yeah, thank you for watching. Have a nice day. See you all Monday.